Hey everybody, I'm here today for the first ever Two Paper Divas challenge. The challenge will be held the second Monday of every month and will run for 2 weeks. You can head on over to their blog and find more information on that. This is a sketch challenge this month, and this is the card that I designed for it. So let's go ahead and get started. I've got the Rainy Day stamp set from Two Paper Divas that I'm going to be using today, and I've also got a 4 by 5 1/4 piece of Canson watercolor paper in my Misty ready to go. I'm going to be using the umbrella, and I've got some VersaFine Onyx black ink that I've inked it up with, and I will stamp that on the bottom portion of my card. I'm going to be masking this off. I've already trimmed this out from Inkadinkado masking paper. And the great thing about a sketch challenge is you can really play around with the sketch. You can stretch it, you can bend it, you can flip it around. Just a lot of different things you can do, which you can tell I've taken some liberty with this sketch and just bended it, smushed it up a little bit in places, and really worked with it to create this card. Now I'm going to go ahead and I've got my duck here. I'm going to place it so it looks like it's holding the umbrella. I'll close my lid and load that up to onto my Misty, and I will again use the same VersaFine Onyx black ink it up, and stamp it down. I also want to apologize for the state of my hands. I have been spray painting on this day because my son, he had the 100th day of school, so they dressed up like 100-year-olds. So I was spray painting a cane for him, so my hands are metallic silver also. Do you ever have one of those days where it feels like everything you need to get done on that day? This was one of those days. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to mask off just a portion of this card. You can tell the sketch has a stripe down the center, and this is going to serve as my stripe. I've masked off 1.5 inches, little strip there, and this is going to look like rain falling on the umbrella, so I'm using some Salty Ocean Distress ink. I'll sponge some of that on very heavily, and then I'm going to take my ink pad and I'm going to swipe down so it looks like it's raining down, and it's got a few stripes in there also. I'll do that in just a minute, but you really want to get this ink on heavily for the next step that I'm going to do. So just really apply it down. And here you can see I'm going to go ahead and take the just direct to paper with my ink pad and just smush it down a little bit and create some stripes on there to make it look like rain. The watercolor paper also has some texture to it, which really adds to the look of rain coming down. Now I'm going to take some Perfect Pearls water that I made up myself, just water and Perfect Pearls powder mixed together, and I'm going to put some pretty big droplets down on there. I will let it sit for just a second, and then I'll take my paper towel and I will blot up the water droplets. And this just is going to give it more of a water effect, make it look like it's actually water, give it some texture and a little bit of more interest to just a plain stripe. I'm going to do it a second time. I wasn't happy with how many droplets I had. I wanted some more, so I'll go ahead and do it again. Same process, sprinkle them down and then blot them up after they've sat a few seconds. So after I got all the droplets I wanted and I got it the way I wanted to look, I zapped it with my heat tool. You can just set this aside to dry if you want. And I peeled off all my masking tape. Now I'm going to do just a little bit of quick watercoloring with distress markers. I've got my umbrella and I'm going to be using black soot on it. And what I did was I made the points of the umbrella the darkest where it meets up at the top. And so I outlined those, and then I came in with some more distress ink and just blended it down to give it some shadows and blended it out. I also had some pumice stone that I used on the top of the umbrella and also the handle of the umbrella. I'm going to use mustard seed on the duck, and because I didn't have an orange distress marker, I went ahead and mixed up barn door and mustard seed to make my orange for the little beak. Now I've got this Mama Elephant cloud border. It's from the Trio border die. I just cut that from a piece of the same watercolor cardstock that's the same width as my card panel. And now I'm just very lightly applying some of the same Salty Ocean Distress ink. I wanted this to have some shimmer to it also, so I'll just give it a light spray with the Perfect Pearls water in just a second and just dry that with my heat tool again. You can tell that it's very light coating. Now I also cut, I believe it's 1.5 inch circle, and I cut that from the same watercolor cardstock again. I'm going to add some mustard seed distress ink. And then I will spray this with the same Perfect Pearl water. I wanted everything to have some shimmer, so I'll spray that with it. And then I'm going to come in with just a teeny tiny bit of spiced marmalade. It's an orange color distressing, and I'll just lightly pounce that onto the sun it will be, just to give it a little depth. When you're doing this, just make sure not to put your foam back onto your ink pad once it's still wet, or once it is wet. You don't want to ruin your ink pad. There you can see too, I'm just taking my Perfect Pearls and giving that cloud border a light mist. Then I'll go ahead and zap that with my heat tool and dry it. Now I've put it into my Misty, and I've also loaded up my stamp, and that stamp is from the same stamp set, and it says the sun will come out tomorrow. Now, since this goes along with my sentiment here, I've got my little circle that I've made into a sun, and I'm going to tuck that just behind the cloud border die with some double-sided adhesive, just so it looks like the sun is trying to come out on this rainy day. I've also put some double-sided adhesive on a piece of fun foam that is slightly smaller than my cloud border, and I will attach my cloud border to the top of my card. I've also put some double-sided adhesive on the back of my card panel there, and I'm just going to pop that onto a black A2 card base. I wanted this card to all have some shimmer. I used the Perfect Pearls all the way across the board, and then I decided I wanted my duck and umbrella to have some shimmer also, so I put on a light coat of Wink of Stella, and there you can see just the shimmer that the entire card has, and also a close-up of that sentiment. I will leave you all with just a few pictures. For more information and a complete supply list, you can visit my blog, craftingwhilecaffeinated.wordpress.com. Also, don't forget to enter one of your cards into the Two Paper Divas monthly challenge. The link will be in the description box below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and happy crafting!